A fall from the sky, and a miracle. What are the chances of surviving a plane crash from 10,000 feet? Almost zero. But in 1971, 17-year-old Juliane Koepcke defied the impossible. She fell from the sky, landed in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, and survived alone for 11 days. How did she do it? What kept her alive? This is her unbelievable story of survival, courage, and sheer willpower. The day everything changed. Juliane Koepcke was the only child of German parents who worked as zoologists in Peru. She grew up surrounded by nature, learning about wildlife and survival from an early age. On December 24, 1971, she and her mother boarded LANSA Flight 508 from Lima to Pucallpa to spend Christmas with her father. Just an hour into the flight, disaster struck. A violent thunderstorm hit the plane. Lightning flashed, turbulence shook the aircraft, and suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck the plane's wing. The aircraft broke apart in midair. Juliane, still strapped to her seat, was thrown out into the open sky, falling 10,000 feet and surviving. Can anyone survive a 10,000-foot free fall? Science says no, but Juliane did. Experts believe that the thick rainforest canopy and the row of seats she was attached to slowed her fall. She hit the ground hard but somehow remained conscious. When she woke up, she was in the middle of the Amazon jungle, completely alone. Her right arm was broken, she had deep cuts, and one of her eyes was swollen shut. But she was alive, a jungle full of danger. Imagine being stranded in the Amazon, surrounded by wild animals, venomous snakes, and no food or shelter. Would you know what to do? Juliane did. Her parents had taught her survival skills, and those lessons would now save her life. 1. Finding water. She remembered that flowing water usually leads to civilization. So, she followed a small creek, hoping it would take her to help. 2. Avoiding predators. Jaguars, crocodiles, and poisonous creatures lurked in the jungle. But Juliane stayed close to the water to avoid thick vegetation where these animals hid. 3. Dealing with injuries. Her wounds became infected, and maggots started eating her flesh. But she knew she had to keep moving. For 11 days, she wandered through the jungle, starving, weak, and in pain. But she never gave up. A ray of hope. On the 11th day, Juliane saw something that made her heart race. A small boat tied near a hut. It was abandoned, but she knew this was a sign of human presence. Exhausted, she crawled into the hut and collapsed. Hours later, Peruvian loggers arrived. They were shocked to see the weak, injured girl. They treated her wounds as best they could and took her down the river to the nearest village. Soon, she was rescued and reunited with her father, the sole survivor. Out of 92 passengers, Juliane was the only one who survived. Sadly, her mother did not make it. It was a heartbreaking reality for Juliane, but she chose to honor her mother's memory by continuing her studies and dedicating her life to wildlife conservation. What can we learn from Juliane's story? Juliane's story is not just about survival. It's about resilience, knowledge, and the will to keep going even when all hope seems lost. Would you be able to stay calm in a life-or-death situation? Do you think learning survival skills is important? What would you do if you were stranded alone in the wild? Final thoughts. A story of strength and survival. Juliane Koepcke's survival is one of the greatest real-life miracles. Her story reminds us that even in the worst situations, the human spirit is strong. What do you think of her incredible journey? Would you have done anything differently? Share your thoughts in the comments.